What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for Queen Sugar season 4, episode 6. So y'all know we missed a week, so we got to jump on in this thing here. First and foremost, um, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. All my social media is in the description box. We start this episode off. We got Nova on her book tour. She now has her Octavia, her professor slash lover slash hater, traveling with her. And I don't trust her. I didn't trust her last week. I knew it was something up with this, but we see it manifest itself this week where she's traveling with Nova, but you see that she still sees a couple of things. One, she still sees Nova as the protege. Two, she's jealous. Point blank, period. She's jealous. Three, she sees Nova as her ticket to get back in. She's very much VIP on the intellectual side of it, on the university side of it. That's not the word I was looking for, but from that side of it. But she wants to get back into the mainstream of her name being short list when it comes to literary things. We'll see that later on in the episode. And so I think I'm gonna go ahead and just knock. I'm just gonna knock this whole thing out with Nova and Octavia, I think. So we see her. We find out that once again, what I've been telling y'all, the theme has been the whole way through with this process that Nova, she gets rewarded on one hand, all the while her relationship with her family is dissolving. And every time she gets rewarded, in her mind, it justifies what she did. And so in this episode, the reward that she got was she was shortlisted for a National Book Award. And we immediately see Octavia pretending to be happy for her, but the look on her face when they hugging, baby, lets you know she ain't happy about this news. Um, um, y'all, these daggone flies. Um, I lost my train of thought. So she's not happy about it. But then Nova says to her, this could be the thing that gets my family to understand our sacrifice helping the greater good. See, once again, Nova, and we done beat this horse to death, but once again, Nova, it's not our sacrifice. You made the decision for everyone else to make the sacrifice. It wasn't your decision to make. I'm not gonna knock it out. I'm gonna keep going with the right order. Back home, Ralph Angel and Darla are working with Blue. They're gonna get him some therapy because he's still struggling. That conversation was good, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. It just, you know, and Darla is right to say he needs some therapy. We know that that's something that, especially in the Black community, is not always embraced. But you can tell that Ralph Angel wasn't quite sure about the whole therapy side of it, but he was going along with it because, again, at the end of the day, whatever's going to help Blue. So we see that they're getting geared up for that. Charley has thrown her hat in the ring. She's running for that city council seat, and so we see her do that. But what we also see is Mr. Prosper then is getting himself a little boo thing, Miss Genevieve. Now, I saw this coming a couple of episodes ago when Mr. Prosper was talking about Miss Genevieve. He was on his way to the funeral for her brother. And you could tell by the way he talked about her that there's a history there. And he was to use the language, he was a little sweet on her back in the day. And whatever happened, she moved away, he married his wife, and now she's back because she buried, I want to say her sister or her brother. I thought it was her sister, but now I think it might be her brother. But anyway, she buried and she's staying. And she has agreed to help Charley with the campaign. And Mr. Prosper giving her that, oh, okay then, because Mr. Prosper called her a little girl or a baby or something. And she said, excuse me, sir, Mr. Prosper, I'm a grown woman. I ain't mad at you, Miss Genevieve. Later on, we see Mr. Prosper and Miss Genevieve stuffing envelopes for Charley, and Mr. Prosper hit her with the, so I know we kind of missed lunch, but I'm gonna throw some steaks on the grill tonight if you want to come through and have a little something, something. Miss Genevieve hit Prosper with free steak. Yeah, I'm there. I'll bring the wine. I said, I know that's right, Miss Genevieve. I like you. I like you, Miss Genevieve. Mr. Prosper he couldn't help himself. He was so happy. So I like to see that. Y'all know I love me some Mr. Prosper. So getting back to oh, I'm sorry. And we check in with Aunt Vi and Hollywood. Let me tell y'all something before I forget to say this later on. Hollywood is the reason why I'm single. And I'm gonna tell you, Hollywood gonna cost a whole lot of people their relationships. Ladies, I want to remind y'all that Hollywood is it's a fictional character, okay? And that doesn't mean that there are no Hollywoods that exist. That's not what I'm saying, because I'm sure that they do. But Hollywood. Anyway, Hollywood and Aunt Vi having some issues in the bedroom. Hollywood said, look, what's good? Because normally I can't keep up with you. And she said, well, it don't happen every time, Hollywood. So I'm thinking she might not have had an orgasm. Hollywood said, but look, that don't happen with us. Normally I can't keep up with you, but lately, she said, look, I just been tired, Hollywood. Now look, let me say this about the whole, I'm gonna go on and knock Aunt Vi and Hollywood on out the box too. Aunt Vi ends up calling her doctor because she thinks there's something physically wrong with her. And she lets the doctor know. And the doctor said, look, your medication is fine. Ain't nothing going on with your lupus. You're good. Your numbers are good. Your levels are straight. And she said, well, look, I'm having some issues in the bedroom. And that just ain't normal for me. So what's good? And the doctor said, well, have you had any traumatic situations happen? Because she said, the last couple of weeks. Now, this is what I don't understand. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out, Vi, that you have been in a funk ever since Jimmy Dale done came back to town. And it just stirred up whatever it was that was there. I do believe that there was a baby that if they mentioned the baby, I missed it. But I do believe that there was a baby that Aunt Vi lost somehow. Whether it was a beating and she had a miscarriage, or she just naturally had a miscarriage, or it was a stillbirth. There's something I believe with the baby. And remember when Jimmy Dale put his hand on her stomach and said something about him giving her something or something like that? He alluded to it. So it's something there that we don't know. I feel like we don't know. And again, I don't remember Aunt Vi talking about a baby, but if she did, I missed it. So she talks to Hollywood later on and lets Hollywood know, look, because Hollywood, he confides in Ralph Angel that, he said, look, we supposed to be having the time of our lives. You know what I'm saying? We in love. We got a little bit of money. We got a successful business. Like, we supposed to be living it up. And we are just in this funk. He said, and I wrote it down because I wanted to remember exactly what Hollywood said, y'all. I wrote it down. Hollywood said some good stuff. If some people said some good stuff. Hollywood said, I'm looking at the notes from a different show. He said, stuff that happened before we was a we is hanging on us like a bad cold. I said, you said that. You said that. And he is absolutely correct. He said, stuff that happened before we was a we is hanging on to us like a bad cold. And later on in the episode, he buys himself a motorcycle and he goes to Aunt Vi, and Vi says, look, I know I ain't been right these last couple of weeks, but it don't have nothing to do with you. It's this whole Jimmy Dale thing. And my thing is, y'all ain't know that. I knew that. Y'all didn't know that that's what was going on. That Aunt Vi's depressed over this whole Jimmy Dale thing because she's dealing with some PTSD or just the issues coming up again. Like, you ain't figured that out. Let me get that damn fly before I go to bed tonight. So Aunt Vi says, look, Hollywood, I need some time. Hollywood was like, time for me? She said, look, I know, I get it, but I really need some time to process. So I don't know if she mean like she's gonna go away for a while or she wants him to move out. Like, I'm not sure what she means by I need some, because she said space. I'm sorry. She said space. So I'm wondering if Aunt Vi about to take a trip and kind of do some soul searching type of thing. What was that movie with Julia Roberts? Was it Julia Roberts? No, it wasn't Julia Roberts. It was that other lady. Went to Rome and did anyway. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So Hollywood said, well, what they say, he said, sickness and health, and she said, I don't know what I did to deserve you, Hollywood. And I'm thinking, I don't either. And that's why I'm single, because I ain't found me a Hollywood, because that man is the truth. Now, I done knocked them out the way. Let's get back to Octavia and Nova because they cutting up. So Nova sits down for an interview. So Octavia's letting Nova, they're in Atlanta now. And Octavia's letting her know, hey, now look, I know some folk down here. I done called some friends and called some friends. We're going to get you in some exclusive VIP situations and we're going to hook you up and get you connected. And it all sounds really good. But like I said, she's doing it for her own reasons, not for Nova. So they go into this interview. Nova's doing this interview. You can tell she's a little nervous or whatever. And I knew exactly what she was doing when she did it. She gonna bring Nova a glass of water. Now anybody could have brought Nova a glass of water. So the guy's gonna say, "Well, who's this?" She said, "Oh, this is my professor from college. She's, been traveling with me." And Octavius jumps right in. Well, I'm traveling. I'm doing an article for the alumni letter, whatever, whatever. And then she proceeds to sit down. Anybody ask you to stay? That's when I knew, right? Nobody asked you to stay and give your 2 cents or nothing. Give me the water and you going back out to the lobby. I'll be out there when I'm done. You ain't got nothing to do with this. So he starts asking Nova questions. And then he says, well, I really want to get your opinion. Your sister's running for city council. Well, she's getting ready to announce for city council. And so I really want to kind of get your opinion. You know, um, you think that your activism has rubbed off on her, blah, blah, blah. And so Nova is taken aback because, of course, she didn't know anything about it. Now, it's interesting that Micah didn't tell her, but kids don't think stuff like that's important. Micah probably would have thrown it in a text in another week or two, but she didn't know. So while she's sort of trying to process and recover, honey, Octavia jumps right on in and starts talking about the black woman rubbing off on each other and being a sisterhood and blah. And of course, Nova's activism has rubbed off on her sister, and she done took over the damn interview. I said, okay, strike one. Then we see that what happened? No, something else happened before. I'm about to tell something, but I think I'm about to tell it out of order. What happened next? Were they at the party next? I really feel like something else happened before I'm gonna get to the party. I feel like something else happened before we get to the party. Okay, I'm gonna remember. I'll come back to them. So y'all let me know in the comments because y'all will let me know if I missed it. What did I miss with Micah and his girlfriend with Kiki? The last I saw, I remember Kiki got mad at him for getting into the fight in the parking lot, but I thought they had sort of made up because the last I saw Kiki, oh, I remember now. So I'm gonna get the strike too. Kiki um had made up with Micah because last I saw Kiki was at the house when Micah got the death threat. So I know last week Micah was saying that Kiki wasn't returning any of his calls. So we see Kiki come by the house today to bring Micah some stuff. And she can't get out of there fast enough. And Micah's like, well, can we talk? And she was like, you know what? I really don't feel like talking to you right now. So what happened, y'all? Did I miss it? Or is Kiki just over the whole thing? Like this another incident happened? Or is it just Kiki just be like, look, I just can't deal with you. What did I miss? Anyway, because Micah was gonna go back up to the jail to visit Aunt, and he was like, why don't you come with me? And she was like, only immediate family can get in there. And he was like, well, the warden kind of gave me a pass. She was like, of course he did. But no, I'm good. You can send my love and deuces. So y'all let me know in them comments if it was another incident that I missed, or if it's just Kiki saying processing everything that's going on with Micah, not really liking what she sees and just kind of saying, I don't want to deal with this anymore. All right. So back to strike two with Miss Octavia. Nova and Octavia later on that night, they're in the bed or whatever, and Nova is obsessing with reading about what's going on back in St. Joe's and Charley running for city council. And Octavia is telling her, look, why are you obsessing over that? Like, you know what, you know how I feel about family. Family, what she say, family is just a accident of happenstance or something like that. She said something crazy like that. And Nova was like, well, first of all, you know that I don't like that, and you know that that's not true. At least not in my case, it's not true. She was like, this is a big deal. My sister running for city council, and you know, I'm really happy for her or whatever. And so she would have Octavia did bring up a good point and was like, well, if y'all weren't sisters, would y'all even be friends? And Nova was like, I don't even know if we friends now. She was like, exactly, that's my point. But that sort of you could tell that sort of rubbed Nova the wrong way because basically she was telling Nova, don't worry about your family, you got me now. And I was like, okay, strike two. We'll get to strike three in a minute. So we see a conversation between Ralph Angel and I'm sorry, Blue gets his therapy. They have a therapy session. And Blue uses Kenya to tell what happened in the playground, which kids do that a lot. And that was when they had suspected, they thought they were pretty certain what happened, but they got confirmation that what they thought happened is what happened. That Kenya told him that his father wasn't his father. He still called him pops, which is a good thing. So the therapist lets Blue go out and play, and the therapist tells them, "Look, this is going to be a process, but I don't want you to be worried because Blue is really processing the way kids would process. Like he's not doing anything that a kid wouldn't do. It's a traumatic situation, but also, I thought I just heard something outside. But also, you have to understand that he hasn't fully grasped what it is that he's learned. Like he hasn't taken in the full scope of it. So then she wants them to do some homework and say, look, I want y'all to write down what is your future that you see? What is it that you envision when you think of you and Blue in the future? What is it that you envision? As co-parenting, your own personal. And Darla starts writing immediately. But Ralph Angel just kind of sits there because he just ain't figured it out, right? And you could tell he feels bad because he's looking over at Darla like, well, damn, and I ain't figured this whole thing out. So we get back to um Hollywood and Ralph Angel talking, and Ralph Angel's just letting Hollywood know that they're doing a therapy thing, and he's not really sure how it's all happening, and he's not really sure, he's just really processing the whole thing and what it really means long term for him and Blue. Charley's boyfriend is trying to hook her up and get her connected to the Latino community of St. Joe's because Charley don't. I mean, other than um what she tried to do with the clinic, she ain't really rocked with them like that. And her focus really has been saving the farmers, not necessarily the workers who work on the farms. And so he told her, "Look, there's some people you need to meet," and she was trying to say, "Well, you can go and talk to them." He was like, sending me ain't gonna be a good look. You need to go talk to them. And come to find out, it's a pastor over probably like the main Latino church down there, and he throws a little get together once every couple of weeks for the community. And he tells Charley, you need to come down and you really need to talk to him. So Charley comes and everything, and she goes and she talks to the pastor. Now let me tell you what I wrote in my notes. Either the pastor already knows or it's going to come out during this campaign about what happened to them workers when Charley made them work and they ended up getting killed. Either he already knows it was Charley because he don't trust Charley and he kind of giving Charley a hard way to go. And he gives her the same thing that you would give a politician, like, look, you ain't been coming down here until now all of a sudden you need something from us. Like that's what politicians do, and I don't trust it. You know, I know who you are. I know what you've done since you've been back in St. Joe's, but you ain't been here talking to us about it. And he goes and something he said, I wrote it down. Something he said about this is later on they talk again, but something he said to Charley, she said, he was talking about race relations, and basically he said, look, they keep us going back and they keep us arguing with each other so they can keep cashing the checks. Talking about the Latino community and the Black community, they keep us arguing with each other. Meanwhile, they cashing checks. He said, and Charley said, well, I think that so many of us are still fighting for what we feel like we never got after slavery. We're fighting for our land. He said, yeah, and meanwhile, y'all forget to fight for the people who help you maintain that land. So I thought it was a valid conversation. And Charley said, you're right. And I want us to continue the dialogue. I want us to continue to work together. Okay. Strike number 3. We're going to get to strike number 3, and then I'm going to hurry up and try to wrap this up because it's running long. They're at a party, and Nova and Octavia there, and Octavia is introducing Nova to all these people or what have you. And Nova is just a fish out of water. She was like, I don't understand how you do this. This is so fake and pretentious. Like, how do you do this? She said, look, this what you got to do. You got to play the game to be in the game. And Nova was like, yeah, but I never wanted to play the game. Like, I never wanted to be in the game. Like, I don't want to join your lane. I like making my own lanes. And she was like, girl, whatever. You gonna figure it out. So she's working the room, and Nova, she's talking to somebody, some academia. That's the word I was looking for earlier, academia. She's talking to someone, and the woman says, oh man, I want to go talk to Nova because I want her to edit an anthology I'm putting together about, young writers or whatever. And she says, oh, Nova's not qualified to do something like that. Now, me, on the other hand, blah, 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 blah. She said, your past work is well respected, but this is the title of my anthology is just up and coming, whatever, whatever. And you could do the forward. And she was like, the forward? Like, bitch, please, the forward. But in the meantime, Nova overheard this whole conversation. So Nova was like, so what was all that about? She was like, oh, nothing, blah, blah, blah. She said, I hooked up a meeting for us to meet up with the dean of Princeton, blah, blah, blah. So the next day, Nova blows off the meeting with the dean at Princeton because she's really processing this whole situation. She has a drink with the bartender. The bartender flirts with her a little bit, invites her out. And he said something. She said, well, no, I'm here with, somebody I should have left in my past. And that's when I said, she done figured it out. And she about to give Miss Octavia a kick to the curb. And that's what she does. She goes back to the room, and Octavia's pissed off. She's like, you blew me off. You blew off our meeting. She said, you mean your meeting? And her true colors came through. They got into an argument, and she said, you are nothing without me. And I wrote this down too. Y'all know I was writing this stuff down because it was whoever did the writing for this, all the episodes really. She said, she said, you know how long it took me to wash the backwoods stink off of you? I said, oh. And she went on to basically say, I created you. I did this for you. You are successful because of me. And then you know what she did? Then she insulted the book, talking about some, you were so willing to throw, she said something about my family. Oh, the family you were so willing to throw under the bus so you could get this book and get this notoriety, just her real feelings really came out, and she let Nova know exactly how she felt about her and this book. And she said, something about, I'm here trying to help you out. She said, you invited yourself and you're here for yourself. She said, I realized I've outgrown you. I will always appreciate what you did for me. I will always respect the lanes that you opened up for me. She said, but at this point, this is where we part ways. I don't want to go the way you want me to go. And they have a moment, but like I said, it was so clear that the jealousy was there. She really did feel like she created this lane for Nova. And it was so funny. At one point, Nova stood up and she towered over Octavia. It was funny. But it was a good moment. It was a good moment. So right before Charley's getting ready to announce, they throw a brick through the window, and you see in that moment she gets scared. She said, what if that brick had hit Mr. Prosper? What if it had hit Genevieve? What if it had done this and done that? And her boyfriend tells her, he said, hold up. He said, isn't that why you're doing this? He said, it's the Landrys. They're gonna do stuff. This is the tip of the iceberg of what they about to do to you. He said, but isn't that why you're running? So that people like them aren't in control, so that people like them can't be in charge. And so you see her get her back, she gets her little mojo back and everything. And she goes on to Nova tries to give her a call, and of course it goes straight to voicemail because I'm sure she got her number blocked. And Nova left a message, and basically saying, I'm happy for you, I'm proud of you, I miss you, I love you, give Micah my love. But in the meantime, Charley is giving her speech and, announcing her candidacy, and everybody is there to support her, whatever. And we see a moment with Blue, Darla, and Ralph Angel. And he's talking about animals. He said, do other animals other than birds talk? And Darla was like, that's a good question. I'm not sure. Ralph Angel said, well, all animals talk. They just talk in their own way. And he was like, oh, like a meow and a bark and all that. And he said, yeah. So then he was reading something about penguins. He was reading, I guess, out of a animal encyclopedia or something like that. And he was talking about penguins and how penguins, how the fathers keep the babies warm and protect them or whatever. And he looked over at Ralph Angel. He said, so kind of like you, Pops, you always protect me and keep me safe. And in that moment, Ralph Angel knew that Blue was good, I think. Or at least he was good. And then we see him go and write down, start doing his homework. And what I thought I saw, and I'm sure y'all look fix me up in the comments if I'm wrong, but it looked like he wrote Blue's name with his last name. So I guess he's going to try to legally adopt Blue, so Blue can legitimately and legally have his last name. And at this point, whoever the daddy is, she don't even know who the daddy is. So I don't even know how that process will work. She don't even know who the daddy is. I mean, she said that she had another little one night stand with some dude in DC, but do we even know that that's true? Neither here nor there. So that's pretty much again, yeah. I think my timing on my DVR is off, but I'm pretty certain that's the end of it. If I missed the last little minute or two, I'm sure y'all will let me know. But that's where we left off. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.